and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the newer Tandorio watch. There's no model number or anything like that, so we're just going to call it the Mini KX Diver. I purchased this watch from the Time Watch Store for $95. The current retail price for this watch is actually only $90, and I have seen it drop just a little bit during the sales, but not by much. I think it was like $85 during the summer sale or something like that. This watch comes in 5 different colorways, including the black you see here. It comes in blue, and different Pepsi bezel options, and also a green dial option. And then you also have the branding here at 12 o'clock, the Tandorio branding, or you can get it without that, though they do retain the 6 o'clock text here. The watch case is made from 316L stainless steel, as is the bezel. It has a sapphire crystal, an aluminum bezel insert, a screw-down crown, a screw-down case back, some water resistance, we'll talk about that in a little bit, and they all come on a rubber waffle strap like you see here, and they are powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So there aren't many options out there for small divers. Thankfully, this one is mostly good. So all of you small wristed viewers out there, I think you're going to want to keep an eye on this one and stay to the end of the review. So before we do get into the review, let's do a quick wrist check. Today I am wearing the Pagani Design PD 1701 version 3. I will be leaving my version 1 link up here. Obviously, they fixed most of my gripes with that watch. So yeah, now you can get it with the white hands and the white indices. Much better. Alright, so let's do the dimensions. So diameter is 38 millimeters. The thickness is 12.6. 20 millimeter lug width. And the lug to lug is sub 41 millimeters. So 40.8 millimeter lug to lug. So the size on this thing is very, very svelte. I've had 38 millimeter dive watches on the channel before, and none of them wear this small. That 41 millimeter lug to lug, that's just super short. And yeah, I mean, it kind of carries over that SKX case shape, and because of that, it's very compact for how big it is. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist. So here it is on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, it is tiny. It is very, very tiny. You know, I've had 37, 38 millimeter watches before, and none of them feel this small, and that's just because the lug to lug is just so compact. But here it is on my wrist. You can see there's no turn down to the case at all, but because it's so compact, it doesn't really matter. This is the stock strap that's on it right now, and if it's fine, it's comfortable, and I have no real problems with it at all. And here we are in some direct sunlight, and you can see there's the big change in the bezel color there, but I think otherwise it looks very good. It's very readable, no real problems with it at all, other than the size. It's just way too small for me. So but it is very, very comfortable, very lightweight, and yeah, looks good. Yeah, here we are on an orange rubber FKM. This is from clockworksenergy.com, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Figured I'd just throw some color at it, but yeah, I do like it. Looks good. I'm gonna throw it on some more though. And here we are on a Riche. This is a army green canvas, and yeah, I think it looks great. Very comfortable strap. Looks good on this one. I mean, no surprise. It's black diver. It's gonna look good on lots of straps. What do you guys think? I'm gonna go throw it on some single pass and double pass now. And here we are on a modded NATO strap. This used to be a two layers. Now it's just a single layer. Bond style gray and black. I think it looks really good on this one. What do you guys think? I'm going to go throw it on one more NATO and we will call it a day and get back to the review. And lastly, here we are on a traditional 2-layer nylon strap. I think it looks pretty good. You know, you can still see it sits pretty good even with 2 layers underneath the watch. And this is not a super thin NATO strap either, so yeah, pretty happy with the look of this thing. It adds a little bit of bulk to it, so it doesn't look so bad on my wrist. So yeah, definitely a good option in my opinion. But let's go back inside and get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing on this thing. So case finishing is pretty surprising, actually. I was quite surprised with it. So you have polished on the sides here, and you can see, I mean, the polishing is just really, really nice. Very, very nice polishing. Very impressed with it. You have brushed on the top of the lugs here. Again, really nice brushing. Sorry, that's more fingerprints than anything else, but Yeah, really nice linear brushing, very satin brushing. You can see the transitions from the brush to the polish. I mean, getting really close, you can see they're just a little soft, but for the most part, it's pretty impressive. And I don't know if it's coming across really, but you can kind of see there's like a little chamfer that goes along this top edge here. You can see it right there, kind of where that reflection is. So it's not a smooth, completely rounded case, kind of like the SKX. So there is a little bit more sculpting going on there. I think it looks really good, but you can still see it retains those nice rounded edges of the SKX. So it's nice and comfortable to wear. You do have, again, polished on this side, unsigned crown, which is kind of a little bit of a bummer, and it's a little bit. It's a tiny little crown. It's shallow. I'll say that. It's a shallow crown. Still have plenty of grip on it. These do get in the way just a little bit, but not too bad. The crown guards here, they get in the way a little bit, but not too bad. But otherwise, I mean, I think it's a really nicely finished case. And flipping it over to the back side, you can see you've got polished in the middle, circular brushing on the outside here, simple little notches to get your tool in there to take off the case back, and polished on the bottom side of the case. Everything looks good here, a little sterile, but still not bad. Yeah, pretty happy with everything in general when it comes to the case. So what about the bezel? Well, the bezel on this thing, again, it's actually pretty nice. You have an aluminum bezel insert. You do have options for this black and gray color. I think they have a fully black one now. I'm not quite sure. But then they also have Pepsi colorways. The bezel insert, if you're wondering, is not SKX 017 size. So it's a slightly different size. So you're not going to be able to use the 017 inserts on this. Same with the crystal. I think those both are a little bit different. But yeah, anyway, back to the bezel. It is an aluminum bezel, printed pretty nicely, I think. We got no real issues with it. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy they went with aluminum. It's just something a little bit different. Keeps the cost down too, and I do always like the look of an aluminum insert. The Lume pip here, centered nicely in there. This top edge of the actual bezel, so kind of where the insert meets the bezel, it's very sharp. It is slightly raised, but it is actually really sharp. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at how sharp that actually was. The bezel action on this thing, actually pretty happy with it. It's only a 60 click bezel, so I'm going to show you that here. So there's 5 clicks, very loud, snappy, and notchy. There's no back play on it, which is nice. There's no forward play. There's just a very solid feeling bezel. It is only 60 click, which is a little bit of a letdown, I think. But yeah, and you can see here, the alignment it's just a little off, just a hair off. But yeah, that's just a little quality control issue. Hopefully you can get one that's aligned nicely. But yeah, 60 clicks, again, very, very loud, very notchy. Got plenty of grip with that kind of coin edge bezel there. Looks really good, and yeah, it functions pretty good in my opinion. Alright, so let's test this watch for sapphire. So here you can see it tests positive for sapphire, so that's nice to see. It's just a flat piece of sapphire. There's a little chamfer there to give a little bit of interest to the dial or to the crystal, but otherwise flat piece of sapphire, no anti-reflective coating or anything. I've got no problem with flat sapphire crystals. They're completely fine, especially on a watch like this. So let's talk about the dial on this. So this is the black dial. It does come with a green dial or a blue dial option, and then different inserts to kind of complement those colors. But yeah, it's a very simple dial. There's no minute track printed on it, which is kind of weird, and no rehout, or no chapter ring, I should say. It's just got an exposed rehout like that. You can see the stainless steel between the dial and the glass. So you got to rely on the bezel minute markers for accurate time reading. Some people might be bothered by that. I really haven't been bothered by it too much. It does accept typical 28.5 millimeter dials, so that's nice to see. But the dial on this, you can tell it is very reminiscent of the Seiko SKX. Fully printed dial with the Tandorio branding at 12 o'clock, automatic, divers 200 meter. So divers 200 meter, that's like an official ISO certified text there. This is not an ISO certified text. I mean, honestly, it doesn't bother me when they put the divers 200 meter. I know why they do it, because they're copying the SKX. I just wish it would say 200 meters. My other problem is the 200 meters. If you look on the official listing, it's only listed as 50 meters. So I don't know how waterproof this watch is. Yeah, there is a gasket in the crown. There is a gasket in the case back. I think it would be fine going for light swimming, but that's just something to keep in mind, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why there's a mismatch of information there. Hopefully it is 200 meters, and I don't see why it wouldn't be, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. Getting back to the dial, you can see, again, fully printed dial. You have white surrounds around the hour markers, and then you've got pretty good amounts of lume on there. You can see they're slightly raised. A little bit of a yellowish greenish color, so it is kind of like a C3 tone to the lume. I think it looks fine. The handset on this, very SKX like, very nicely sized in my opinion, reaching right out to where a minute track would be. Same with the seconds hand here, and you've got a loomed lollipop on the end of it there. Frame date window, just printed there, but I think it's nicely centered, maybe a little bit high, but for the most part, I think the alignment on this thing, it was perfectly acceptable. Very happy with it. I saw no real issues with it. The lume on this thing, kind of surprising. I'm going to pop up a lume shot right now. So here you can see it against a couple other affordable dive watches in my collection, and it holds its own. I mean, it's right up there with the Addy's Dive Willard. Lasted all night long, surprisingly. I was quite impressed with the lume on this thing. Very happy with that. A dive watch with poor lume is one of the biggest letdowns of a watch. So very happy to see that they actually did a pretty decent job with the lume on this thing. All right, so let's talk about the movement in this. So the movement is operated by this 4 o'clock or 3:45-ish crown. Screw down crown, as I show you there. Nice solid pop out, solid feeling crown. Pull it out to the third position, hacks the movement. This is the Seiko NH35, so 21,600 beats per hour. Hacks, hand winds. It's super cheap to replace if you ever need to replace it. Super easy to find mod parts for it if you're going to use this for a mod. Yeah, I love the NH35, and in a watch in this price range, it's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I've got no issues with it. And I will pop up a time grapher shot right here. This is what it's running. I don't even know what it's running. I haven't worn this one enough to really be able to tell what it is running, but yeah, that's what it's running. But yeah, it's the NH35. I am overall pretty satisfied with it. The screw in and screw out action of that crown, very, very easy. No issues whatsoever. Very happy with it. All right, so let's talk about the strap on this thing. So the strap is just your typical, I've had this strap on other watches before. It's nothing fancy, but it's fully functional. It's very flexible, very comfortable. I've got no problems with it. Plenty long. Yeah, lots of adjustment holes here. You can see it does taper from 22 down to 18. Or sorry, it tapers from 20 down to 18, and it kind of has this abrupt taper. It's not a smooth taper. You got 2 floating keepers here. You've got just a super cheap buckle, but again, functional, unsigned, unspectacular. Got the holes on the bottom here. You can see that I've actually had this one in salt water. Yeah, it's been fine. You can see also here, I cut mine because, I mean, this thing is super long, super long. I mean, it was folded over on it. I mean, you know, the tongue was sticking way out, and that kind of bothers me. And I've got other straps just like this one, and I've cut those ones too. So yeah, plenty long. I don't have a need to have an extra like 3 inches on this thing, so I just cut it off. And I will clean that up when I go to use this more often. So but yeah, I think the strap is perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. You're probably going to want to change it, but you don't have to, which is a good thing. And there's no quick release or anything like that, which is a little bit of a bummer, but kind of expected at this price range. And actually, the spring bars that came with this, very high quality spring bars, pretty happy with those. So there you go, guys. That's the Tandorio Mini KX or XKX for small wrists. Yeah, pretty happy with that 41 millimeter lug to lug. That's just crazy small, too small for me. So I am going to be selling this one. I already have a couple of people that are lined up ready to buy it. So but yeah, this is it's been a nice one, actually. Very, very happy with this one, actually. It's pretty cool. And I think anyone that's looking for a small dive watch, this is one that should definitely be on your radar. So if you are interested in picking this up, I'll be leaving a link down below. That is an affiliate link. Thank you guys so much for using the affiliate links. It really helps the channel grow. I'm getting more and more of these watches in because of those affiliate links. So thank you guys so much. Keep using them, and I'll keep doing some reviews and bringing some of these cool watches to your attention. I think that's about it, though. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.